When the rent stopped being paid, homeowners Mia and Ryan gave the Murphys the benefit of the doubt, but they soon realised their tenant's sob story didn't add up.
It's not even a mistake. They're calculated, deceptive choices that they're making. Well, I can't believe that they just don't pay their rent. So, you know.
Yeah, that's all they had to do.
We just want to ask you some questions about why you haven't been paying your rent.
We have paid the rent.
They're the serial rent dodgers who are taking multiple landlords for a ride.
They tricked us to feeling sorry for them and taking their family in, and now they're living there rent-free, and it's costing us a fortune.
And they refuse to admit they've been caught out. So you're not in a rent arrears?
No,
you don't owe any money to anyone?
No.
You've never left a lease?
No.
You've never run out on a lease?
No. Never. Never.
When Mia and Ryan moved into their first house together, they decided to rent out Ryan's other property. Mia is a property manager, so they listed it themselves on Gumtree, and soon they had a heartfelt application from the Murphy family.
And Ryan always said all along, you know, I'd like to just see a nice family in my house to make it their home.
The hopeful tenants were Peter and Sherry, along with their 3 kids, one with a disability. They outlined it all in this cover letter, saying they were looking for a new home after the house they were living in for the past 3 years was being sold.
You'd naturally feel empathetic and, you know, drawn to something like that. It was a nice family letter.
The family's references all checked out and they moved into the Brisbane property in November last year, but it didn't take long for problems to arise. When did things start to go wrong?
About 2 months into the tenancy, and it was just, Ryan's like, oh, look, they've actually forgotten to pay the rent. I'm like, all right, I'll just send them a quick email, just letting you know we haven't received any rent.
But that started weeks of delayed and irregular rent payments before they claim the money stopped coming in altogether.
I don't know how someone can actually live with themselves, like the guilt of doing something like that and putting so much financial strain and stress on someone else would do my head in.
Mia issued them a remedy breach which gave them 7 days to pay. Peter and Sherry didn't. Now they have to wait until June for a court hearing to get them evicted.
So it is a long wait, unfortunately. The last time they paid any rent was on the 4th of April.
They say you haven't paid in over a month.
But we're in court. We're going to court to get this
to evict
done.
you. They want you out of the property.
Really? This is what they've done. This is ridiculous.
Did they say you haven't paid the rent in over a month?
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Frustrated, Mia and Ryan started to look deeper into the Murphys' history. They came across a new entry on a bad tenants database, which wasn't there when the Murphys moved in, showing they weren't the only landlords who claim they've been scammed.
We're one, there's real estate before us, there's at least 2 other people before that I know of.
They realised the previous address Peter and Sherry put on their application wasn't the whole story. They then realised through Facebook it was in fact Sherry's uncle's house, and Sherry's uncle who gave a reference for the couple. When we put that to Peter Murphy, he couldn't give us an answer. What was the name of your last landlord?
This is ridiculous, really.
Because was it Sherry's uncle?
What are you on about?
You said you'd lived at an address in Walloon for 3 years.
I don't know what you're on about.
But you've lived in 3 different other addresses.
I don't know what you're on about. They made that up. They've lied about that.
Do you have anything you want to say?
They've lied about it.
In fact, rental history shows the Murphys actually lived in this street west of Brisbane in the 10 months prior to moving into their current rental. We've discovered they left here owing nearly $3,000 in rent, and neighbours also complained about smells and noise coming from the property. Before that, the Murphys lived here in this street for 9 months. The owner claims they up and left with 3 months left on their lease, costing her around $6,000 in unpaid rent. She also had to repaint and recarpet the house due to damage, which cost her another $6,000. The landlord was too afraid to speak on camera, but did issue a current affair with this statement.
I entered the property to find it left unlocked, laundry door and ensuite window wide open, the house keys in open view on the kitchen bench. On closer inspection, the rear bedroom's carpet was soaked with urine, texture marks throughout the rooms, all over the carpets and on walls, nail polish on walls, mascara on door framers, nothing wiped down or cleaned. I just couldn't believe that people would be that vindictive.
Because the Murphys mainly rented privately, it's only now their history is catching up with them.
Got everything they're saying, they're lying about it.
So you think you're paid up to date?
Yeah.
You've never run out on a lease, you've always paid your rent?
Yep.
But Mia and Ryan say they're now facing a $10,000 bill to be able to re-let the house once they get the Murphys out.
All the rent arrears, we've got to repaint all the house inside because they've painted these god-awful gothic colours.
And they have this final message for the Murphys.
We're not going to let someone else fall victim to what you guys are doing. Yeah. You're playing a game, but you've picked the wrong people to play the game with, sorry.
Today, the Murphys still owe Mia and Ryan $2,000. It'll be more by the time of the eviction hearing next month.